Okay, some of y'all might remember this little project that I made with the part from the lawnmower. Having a good time with that. But one of the issues that I had was when you're photographing a flower or whatever you're photographing, you have to adjust your focus by moving the camera forward and backward up to whatever it is you're photographing, and not only hold the camera there, but you also have to hold this on the bellows where it needs to be at as well. And although it was a lot of fun, and I'm sure I'll still use it, I'm not ready to give it up yet, but I came across this slider right here that guy had it on the internet for sale. In fact, it was the guy that actually invented the Lense system, which is a lens. It's Lenny Lens. I think it's LennyLens.com maybe is the address. Anyway, he had this. He's local here in Richmond and actually in Henrico, Virginia. And he had this on sale on Craigslist. So I picked it up, but the problem was I didn't have a way to attach. I was going to attach my Canon to this, and of course I could have went and bought a T adapter and went straight to that route and been done with it. But any excuse to use the lathe and have a little fun is a good reason to use the lathe and have a little bit of fun. So I went over to my friends at Richmond Camera, and I went over to the Patterson Avenue store, and I spoke to Steve over there, and he's just awesome. I mean, he just really loves photography, has a real passion for it. You can tell just by talking to him. And I showed him the other lens, and I showed him the bellows thing, and we kind of hammered over some different ideas. And basically what I came up with is, this is the back part of Canon lens that attached to the same Canon camera that I have, and it was broke and busted all to pieces. So they was getting ready to throw this in the trash, and he was nice enough to give it to me. So now my next thing is going to be to attach this actually, to the bellows here and go from there. So the bellows has this ring it threads on here like so. So basically what I did, I decided that I would just permanently attach this ring, it has a thread in it, onto here. But the problem that I'm having is getting the alignment straight. So I went out there to the lathe and I turned a bushing, and it fits across this cone right here, and it's kind of a press fit, so it fits on there kind of tight like so, and then the outside diameter actually fits the ring, and the ring slides over top of it like that. So now I know that with this in there, I'm going to be perfectly straight. Everything's going to be lined up dead set on. So I'm not really, I'm keeping my light coming into the lens relatively straight and not doing anything crazy. So that's where I'm at. So I'm going to use this for a guide and basically just epoxy this right on there like that, and then this thing, I'll remove this sleeve and it will actually screw right onto the front of the bellows. And then the next step I'll be doing will be building an apparatus to attach the lens onto this end of the bellows. Steve was nice enough to help me out with that too. I just happened to hit them just right when they had a trash can full of stuff that was going out in the dumpster. So I kind of got lucky in that aspect, but I was really impressed with just the way that he just deals with customers in general, and he was just an overall great guy. I mean, he's definitely we have a Richmond camera that's 15 minutes down the road from where I live at, and I would travel the extra, it's probably 30 miles to get to Patterson Avenue for me, or more. And I'd travel the extra 30 miles to go to Patterson Avenue to talk to Steve. It's just that worthwhile. So anyway, if you're in the area, I highly recommend you stop by there. Check it out. It's pretty cool. Got some right neat stuff over there too. So anyway, that's where I'm at, and I just kind of wanted to update that, and I'll let you know how it goes from here on out. Alright, I got it. I got the piece glued in there. That's for the part where you attach the camera. Now I'm looking at the other end down here, and the lens is going to attach right here. And this piece was on here. This is actually a T adapter that fits a Miranda camera. This is the ring that goes on the came off the front of this old Minolta camera, which is takes the same type of lenses that I'm going to be using on this apparatus. And the reason why is because it has manual aperture settings on the actual lens itself, so I can set my aperture and whatnot right there on the lens. I took the 4 screws out and took this off, and what I'm thinking about doing, I don't know, I don't know how successful I'm going to be, but my plan of action is going to be to chuck this up in the lathe out there, turn the inside diameter to match the outside diameter of this right here, and then press fit this together. I don't think that there's going to be enough material left on here to be able to drill these microscopic screw holes and tap them, and I'm not even sure that I even have a tap that small. There may be somewhere on this watch bench, but trying to find it. If my dad was here, still alive, he could probably go right to it, because he knew where everything was in there. This was his watch bench, and all the stuff for working on watches is microscopic. And there are taps in here. I just have to locate where they're at and get the right one. So anyway, I'll cross that bridge once I get there. As for right now, I think the plan of action is going to be to turn the inside diameter out to meet the outside diameter of this lip, and then press fit this up in there, and then at that point I'll figure out a way to actually secure it into place, whether it be drilling it and tapping it, or just epoxying it in place. And I'm more leaning towards epoxying it in place, because it is what it is. Basically, I'm building a T apparatus to join the darn thing to it. So I don't have this camera, so what the heck, I'm not losing anything. Alright, so I'm going to head on out to the lathe and see what I can do with this thing. Alright, I had a failure. What else is new, right? Have a lot of those. It was an epic fail, but it wasn't catastrophic, but it could have been catastrophic. I was out there and I was cutting this collar open, adapter, making an adapter for the lens part, and you know, they always tell you that you shouldn't hurry in the machine shop, and this is a good example why you shouldn't hurry in the machine shop. You should always take your time. And I got in a hurry and started rushing, and next thing I knew, I wasn't paying attention, and the tool bit, I just fed the tool bit in there a little bit too fast, trying to rush through the job, and sent this thing flying across the room, and it bent it all to pieces. So that set me back a little bit, and I'm gonna have to come up with another plan. But hey, you know, that's a part of the fun, right? Solving the problems. If everything went smooth, it wouldn't be any fun anymore. Anyway, I'm scrapping that, and I'm thinking about maybe making an adapter out of a piece of plexiglass. I got a lot of this stuff laying around here, and if I can get it to cut right and make its tolerances close enough, I won't have any light leakage. But if it comes down to it, I can always just spray paint it flat black, and that should keep the light out of it. Anyway, I've had enough for today, so after this thing come flying out of the lathe and shoom by my head and pinged off the wall, I think it's time to call it quits for the day and maybe come back another day. But this is a good example why you should always wear your safety glasses. Always wear your safety glasses. You know, a chunk of this, a piece of metal fragment broke out of this thing and flew across the room, and I mean, that could have went in my eye just very easily. So anyway, alright, so I'm not OSHA, so I'm not going to enforce no safety rules, but I was wearing glasses, and I'm glad I was. Alright, we'll see you tomorrow. Alright, so after a couple of failed attempts and a few crashes on the lathe, ended up with a few parts going flying. I tried to make an adapter out of this piece of it's like a plastic. It's made by DuPont. It comes in a round tube, solid round tube, and I got about 3 feet of it out there. And it actually came as surplus with one of the lathes that I purchased about 8-10 years ago. Anyway, this didn't work because it turned out it was too brittle, and it wasn't very forgiving, and so it cracked under stress, and it was really better that it cracked then than after I mounted it to the camera and then have it crack and maybe drop the camera, drop the lens or something. So what I ended up doing is I got a camera, an old Minolta camera donated, which is, I needed Minolta because I'm going to actually use a Minolta lens with adjustable apertures and manual focus right on the lens. So I took the lens attachment apparatus out of that and then machined a piece out of aluminum. And that piece is, this piece is going to fit in here like this. And then basically what I did was I duplicated this piece, which goes inside this bellows on this end, it drops down in here, and these set screws tighten it down. I duplicated that in directly onto the piece of aluminum, and cut the little slot in there for the screws, so it should all fit together. And just like so, and the camera will fit on this end, the lens will fit on this end. So anyway, that's where I'm at this point in the game. So I'm going to take a little break, and then I'll get back on it. Alright, so this is how it ended up looking. Hopefully you can see this alright. And it mounted good on the body, and the lens mounted on here, and it can actually be the lens can actually be taken off, and shorter lens be put on. And it locks on there nice. The slider, basically you can run the lens out like this for your macro shooting. And then on the other side over here, there's a lock that you can lock it down. And hopefully it'll do what I want it to do. Who knows? You know how these things are. You know how this kind of stuff goes. It's kind of trial and error. So anyway, I'm gonna probably go ahead and try to take a couple pictures of it with it, and see how they turn out. It is an oddball looking thing, that's for sure. And it was an adventure to adapt it over to fit this lens. I've got another lens too. It's a 49mm. This one I think is like a 135 or something. I don't know what it is.
We can't confirm that.
I'll show you how much I've paid attention to it. Yeah, 135. It's 135, and it'll open up to 2.8, and it'll close down to 22, which is good because you need that thing to close way down when you're doing macro photography. Anyway, gonna see how it works. Not real sure exactly how it's gonna work.
Is that really necessary? You want to stay in business, don't you?
Try and take a gander at it. Let's see. Open it up a little bit.
So is it just the two of you, or is Marilyn here?
That's Andrea's stuff.
Andrea, our victim.
I know how to punch up this jacket.
Andrea was one of us. We've been writing Liz Milner's novels for 3 years. Andrea turned in our last manuscript this morning.
Looks like it needs
We're on to the next one now.
a lot of light.
We've never met her. Wait a minute, you guys write exactly like her, but you've never met her? She gives us storylines.
She's good. It looks good from right there.
We do the rest.
I'll focus on infinity. Anyway, let me get a memory card in here, and I'll try it out. And if I get a good picture, I'll post it.